Thank you. On the record, please identify yourself.
Felix Rivera.
Suzanne Vance.
Christopher Monster. B. Peterson.
Big training. Chief, the time is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's Friday and it's beautiful outside. Breakup is really here. Anyway, I wanted to spend a few moments introducing you to the Anchorage Police Department. I'm Chief Chris Tolley, and I gave each of you a sheet on how to contact myself and the deputy chiefs. You can feel free to give me a call at the office, or any one of us will call at the office, and also on our cell phones. We also can get text messages and emails on our cell phones, and as you can imagine, we're 24/7, so don't feel bad sending that to us over the weekends or late at night or in the middle of the night and so on. With that being said, it's very, very important to remember by calling us sometimes delays responses and delays us getting you the assistance you need. So whenever a constituent has a concern or something like that, yes, we want to know about it. We want to help in every way. But if this is something that needs to be reported to the police department, it's very, very important that that constituent is advised to call 911 for emergencies or 8900 for non-emergency matters. Why is that so important? Because we want to make sure there's a record of that constituent's concerns. And it could be as minor as somebody parking in front of their dumpster repeatedly, or it could be, very concerning, like a break-in at their house. We track every call that comes in to the police department. We get over 300,000 calls a year, and sometimes we get over 1,000 calls in a given day. It's very, very important having that record and knowing the previous history of that particular address or that individual. So often, when you are approached with a concern from a constituent, there could be a backstory and history and all, and we just want to make sure that you have the best information to help them and get them the assistance you're seeking, as well as we want to do the best possible job we can. So I strongly urge you by starting by calling it into the department. Our department's really broken down into two sides of the house. The first is the administrative side of the house, and that's Deputy Chief Case. And under the administrative side of the house is your admin division, and that division is headed up by Captain Dave Cook. That's your dispatchers, your record clerks, your evidence, all the shopkeeping side of the house, as well as the training academy. Then you have the inspections division. That's the division that we were fortunate enough to create about 2 years ago. That houses our Office of Professional Responsibility, previously known as Internal Affairs. Whenever there's an allegation made by a citizen or an individual, we take that very seriously. We document it, we track it, and we see that it is looked into in a proper way. If it's a criminal matter, then we work with the prosecutor's office and so on, and make sure that they're part of that. Then we have another division that I'm very proud, another unit within the inspection division I'm very proud of, and that's our Office Internal Inspections. What's that all about? Well, we're not trying to catch our employees making mistakes and things like that. What we're trying to do is identify problems before they become problematic. We go in, as you can imagine, we have a lot of policies and procedures that have been written over the history of the municipality and of the police department, and we take that opportunity to go into each unit and do a review of the unit, all the policies and procedures that apply to those units, and update, get rid of obsolete policy, write new policy, and so on, and do our very, very best to make sure that we're providing the best service we can, and that we're doing the best practices. So again, it's trying to identify problems before they become problematic. And then the last unit within that is our security and safety. That is responsible for all the physical buildings, our vehicles, and so on, as well as our risk management. And we do our best to not just when incidents happen, but to study those incidents and see how we can improve in the future and lessons learned from it. Then you have our operational side of the house, and that operational side is headed by Deputy Chief Kim McCoy. That's where the vast majority of your personnel are. The operations division has patrol, which is the largest division. That's all your uniform officers. And they're broken down into 3 shifts. If you haven't had an opportunity, I think every one of you have actually been on a ride along, you really need to do all 3 shifts, various times a week, various times a year. It puts things in perspective and helps you to serve your constituents well. Then we have our detective division, and that's headed up by Bill Miller, Captain Miller. And then our last division is our crime suppression division, that's headed up by Captain Justin Dahl. And that would be your SWAT teams and your EOD personnel, your CAP teams, and all our task force officers are housed under that division. So as far as priorities for the department, they're pretty basic. It's staffing and recruitment. We have been growing the department. I'm very, very proud of what we've accomplished in the past going on 2 years now. We're ahead of the schedule. We're really getting back to some good staffing levels. Just this week, we've had about 8 or 9 officers go solo. That's people that are in field training from the December Academy class. The rest of that group of 24 should be solo sometime in May. Then, right around the corner is June 1st, where we have 29 individuals who will be graduating from our Academy class.
You're invited to a graduation. You'll get another son.
And then they will go out into the field training program. And then right a couple weeks after that, on June 15th, we hope to start another full academy class of close to 30. And recruitment for that is going very, very well. We're going to have more qualified individuals than we have seats for, and that's a good position to be in because then we can pick the very best people. So the other couple priorities are making sure we are providing the best police service to our community, growing and expanding the department's relationship with community organizations and other law enforcement agencies. I mentioned our task forces. We also created a unit several months ago called Community Relations, headed up by Lieutenant Denise Rollins. Remarkable what they do. And Lieutenant Rollins is a great point of contact for you to go to if you need a presence by APD at a community meeting and things like that. She'll do her best to arrange it. There's not many days that go by that one of our officers or some of our personnel are out in the community doing something at the Boys and Girls Club, showing up at a meeting in a community and things like that. We take a lot of pride in that. Just last night, we graduated our 26th Citizens Academy. And really, we've had Citizens Academy longer than most departments across the nation. And we're very, very proud of that. And we run academy classes each fall and spring. And then we're gearing up for our youth academy this summer, where we try to get the youth in and introduce them into public service, getting them, building them knowledge and so on of community service, and hopefully maybe even choosing law enforcement. And then the very last priority is conducting operational reviews, which ties into that Office of Internal Inspections that we're saying. We want to identify problems before they become problematic. As a whole, another thing very, very proud of from last year, we had a generous budget, and we were able to perform and provide the quality of service, recruit the number of people we did, and we stayed in budget and actually had about a 0.5% surplus that we were able to then make available to the rest of the municipality where it needed to be allocated. So we put a lot of emphasis on daily operations, on where each and every dollar goes. It goes all the way down to the sergeants and the units and so on, and the other non-sworn managers, to make sure there's not waste of funds.
Questions from assembly members? Anything, Felix, Suzanne, Chris, anything? Pete?
Just a comment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate the work you do. At one time, you were down to about 360 officers. We're up to where now, Chief?
We're just over 400, and with that, we're going to be starting the June 1st Academy. That should put us above 425, closer to 430. This year, the department is at a very unique time in their history, and that 95 individuals are eligible to retire from the department. Another thing that we're very proud of, that over the past few years, we were losing over 40 individuals each and every year. That's a lot. There's more than one academy class to backfill. We've gotten that down into the 20s, and our best projections is, even though there's 95 individuals that could go, it seems like the morale and employees are extremely confident and happy at the department. And each one of those employees that doesn't leave the department, it's a plus up for the municipality and the citizens of Anchorage.
The last administration, towards their end, was getting rid of so many officers leaving. The burger unit was shut down, the gang unit was shut down, the vice unit was shut down. So when people called APD and said, hey, I was burglarized, they were told, go online and fill out an incident report for them, we'll get you what we can. And we don't need that level of lack of police contact. We need enough officers on the street to fully implement the laws that we've passed, because they're not the ones that pass the laws. I wrote a little law a few years ago that requires the first time they pick you up for drunk driving to lock your car for 30 days, second time to seize your car. And when people get stopped, they don't like that law. It's not the officer, it's us that break the laws. So, yes, Felix.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yeah, that brings me to the recent studies that show we need to be at 446 officers approximately. So based on attrition and the academies, about how long do you think it'll take to get there? Is that a goal that we're setting?
So by the time a person enters the academy, goes through basically the 6 months of training, and then the 6 months of field training, it's about a year. So those individuals that we'll see in the June Academy, June 15th, and then the others that will come in the December Academy should get us up to about that number, but you will not realize the full benefit of them until this time next year. And we're already starting to see those benefits, and that we've been fortunate enough to start foot patrols. But the idea is not to have just footmen dedicated to posts. The idea is each and every officer to have time that they can get out of their car and have conversations with neighbors and business owners.
Here's another problem. In the 90s, we had a retirement system for police and fire. We had a generous retirement system. Because of cutbacks in the state, they're now down to Tier 4, which is basically a 401k. And you had so many officers who could take that 401k and go somewhere else. During the real dark days of the police department, we had people coming up here, recruiting our officers and saying, guess what? Come down to Santa Clara and you can take your retirement with you. They were actively recruiting our people. It used to be you could recruit other people. The horn turned on us.
We've started to address some of that by also having laterals. Every police officer in the state of Alaska is Alaska Police Standards certified. And we've to date brought over in the past 2 years about 7. It looks like we're going to be doing another 1 or 2 real soon here. And that's great. When you get a trooper or someone from another department that's already been trained, they don't have to spend 6 months in the academy and all those months in field training. They do a modified orientation along with field training to get them to know the municipal codes and our policies and procedures. So we're trying to pick up extra bodies every which way we can like that.
Any questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we're now going down to Public Works.